What I'm wondering about this week is the difference between the things that I must do and the things that I can do, and maybe even extending that into things that I ought to do. The things I must do are really applicable to my professional life and my personal life too, right? The things that I have to do to survive, the things that are part of my job description. The things that I can do are all the things after that, which is just this huge variety of things that I can do. And the things that I ought to do are probably narrowing down those can do things to those that are most important. We have a friend of the family, her name's Katie, and she's from Texas, and she often says that you might, should, ought to do something. You might, should, oughta. And the might, should, oughtas are the things that are the most important of the things that are in our can-do list. But what am I wondering about, right? I'm wondering, how do I actually get done with the must-do things so that I have the opportunity to focus on the might, should, oughta things from my can-do list. And there's a great quote I want to share from you from Marie Forleo, and she writes that insight without action is worthless. And so my wondering today, I want to share what I'm wondering about, but also some action that I'm going to take myself and maybe would encourage you as well. In Greg McKeown's book called Essentialism, which I highly recommend, it's been a theme of my life, both personally and professionally, over the last 6 months or so. He writes that many of us spend the majority of our lives focused on trivial many things, and few of us actually are able to narrow down and focus on the vital few things in our life. And I think for us to be able to have an ability to focus and carve out time for those might, should, oughta activities, we're going to need to figure out how to focus on the vital few things over the trivial many. So from an action perspective, here's what I've been wondering about is, how do I create enough margin in my life, this is professionally and personally, to have space to focus on those things that I might, should, ought to do, right? And so here's just 3 things that I know that I need to do to be able to make that happen, and what I've been wondering and focusing on recently. Number 1, I have to continually evaluate what are those vital few things that I have to do. Of the must-dos in my life, what are the vital few, right? How do I ruthlessly protect those vital few? And to do that, I really have to say no to more things that really are those trivial many instead of those essential few things that are important to focus on. And then lastly, by doing that, that helps me to create margin so that I can actually have time to focus on those things that I might, should, ought to do. Not everything I can do, but the most important things, the might, should, oughtas. That's my wonder for this week.